if he like it would get into it, one of the moms or something, he'd be like, "But did you hear my brother's EP though?" Like, like
I love that.
he was like so supportive. He was telling everybody.
I'm doing well. I appreciate you taking time to hang out with me today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Yes. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So this is a podcast about you, your journey in music, and how you got to where you are now.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. I actually just watched your America's Got Talent performance where you sang your own song, and man, that was incredible and touching and emotional. And yeah, wow. And I'm so sorry to hear about your brother.
Thank you, Adam. Yeah, thank you so much. That was really cool being able to do that and honor him on such a platform like that. That was really huge for me. So
yeah, you even had Sofia in tears, man.
I know.
Mean, and actually other audience members too. They were panning the camera around and people were crying. I mean, I can't imagine the emotion that was going through you during that performance.
Yeah, it was great. It was really cool seeing the reaction from the people even being there, because I literally was like, do I know these people? Like, I thought like that, like my family had shown up or something, and surprised because they were going so hard for me in the audience,
Oh yeah, you had a standing ovation.
Love.
That was incredible. It was a standing ovation.
I know. Yeah, 2 of them. That was pretty cool. That was really cool. Yeah.
So cool. Well, I did read you're Minnesota. Is that where you're born and raised?
Yep. I was born and raised in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Grew up there. And I moved to Nashville about 5 years ago.
Oh, you're in Nashville. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Oh, you're in Nashville.
Yeah, I'd moved here about a year and a half ago. Yeah, I'm from San Diego in California.
Oh, cool.
I'm one of the refugees. I'm sure I've heard.
Me too. Me too. There's so many people moving here, especially from California.
I know, it's wild. It was crazy because when I moved here about a year and a half ago, just walking around, people would ask, "Oh, are you from California?" I'm like, "How the hell? How do you know?" And it was they're like, "So many of you are moving here." I'm like, "What?" Like, I had no clue, no clue.
What part are you in? And Nashville?
I'm in South Williams County, like Thompson Station area.
Williams County. Yeah, I used to be in that area, kind of by Lenox Village. I used to live there.
Oh, cool.
Nashville, yeah. Yeah.
And then now are you more in the city?
I'm more west now. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
West Nashville. Yeah.
Cool,
I love it over here. But I'll be moving again soon to Hermitage.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, that area.
Cool.
I love it.
What was it like growing up in Minnesota? What was that like, Minneapolis?
Oh, it was really awesome. Like, I had most of my family's there. I have family everywhere though, but most of my family's in Minneapolis, and there was a cool music scene there that I actually didn't get that involved in. I wish I would have gotten more involved in the underground music scene that they had there growing up. Because I grew up in church. I was very in this bubble a little bit. Like, I still got a lot of what I learned and stuff from that, but
sure,
musically, and so, but I was kind of in a little bubble, and I wish I could have branched out. But I plan on doing a show there soon to kind of, do
a hometown show.
And my hometown would be so huge. I haven't done it yet,
Wow, so, really?
Really, yeah. I sang growing up there. Like I said, I grew up in church, and so I sang in that, the circuit there and stuff. But I haven't got to get involved in the music scene that we have there. That's really cool. So it'd be nice to go there and do that.
Yeah, I mean, so you didn't grow up around like, because obviously, Prince, huge, from
oh my God, like, of course, we all listened. I listened to everything. I just wish I could have gotten more involved,
like immersed in the actual scene,
in that culture. Yeah,
got you.
Musical culture. So, but Prince, yeah, of course, we all grew up listening to Prince. He's our Prince. He's our
sure.
So, but yeah, so that was a huge influence for me even musically, you know, having him and one of the icons, you know, in
Yeah.
Minneapolis. When you say Minneapolis, everybody's like, if
Prince.
they don't know about Minneapolis, they know about Prince, you know.
Right.
Like,
That's the
they're
first
like,
thing I
oh,
thought
where
of when
Prince is
yeah,
from.
you're from Minneapolis. Okay, Prince.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so how old are you when you started singing? And do you play like an instrument at all as well?
No, I started singing when I was a kid, but in church, I started singing when I was 13 in front of people, like in church. And then
Or like
when I
in the
started like,
choir or the gospel band or
yeah, so
something?
I sang in the choir, but I did my first solo when I was 13. And then I
Oh,
was terrified. And but I knew from that day, I was like, ooh, like seeing the reaction too, because I always loved singing, you know, and I just sang around the house, you know, and my friends would hear me and be like, oh, you can sing, Wayne, you got a nice, but I never really knew until one time my mom heard me when I was in the living room and she peeked her head around, was like, Wayne, you know, because you know, when you're a kid, I can imagine, I don't have kids, but I can imagine when, you know, you're hearing, oh, that's a little cute little so-and-so singing,
sure.
you know what I mean? You don't, and then there hits a place where you're like, wait, they can really sing. And I think that's kind of what happened with my mom. So she started getting me to everybody. She was like, my son, he sings, please, like, let him do this solo. He wrote this really good song, you know, and they finally let me get up and do a solo. And they, because I sang in choir before that, but,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they finally let me do a solo. And then everybody went crazy and I've been singing, they have me singing every week from there on, you know.
Oh, wow.
But that's when I knew that music is kind of like where I wanted to, what I wanted to do, you know. And I never really, I tinkered with instruments, you know, but I put a lot of my energy just into like perfecting my voice and like my writing and stuff like that. But I still am learning, you know, I'm learning guitar a little bit, you know
Oh,
what I'm
cool.
saying?
Sure, sure. But
But
you said
just
you
to
got
help
up and
with my
sang your own
writing.
song. You were writing songs at that early of an age as well at 13?
Yeah, I did. I wrote this song called Angel City. And they were like, um, I was so nervous. My knees were literally bucking, like
Oh, wow.
shaking. I was so nervous, but I knew from that day this is what I wanted to do. Like, you know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
then it was just getting kind of, you know, I listened to everything, but it was like perfecting my craft. And I was, like I said, I was kind of in a bubble for a long time. And then I finally was like, when I moved to Nashville, I was like, I want to do music that I want to do. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so I just started going down that. That was scary because I grew up like, you know, you're always told you can't do this, you can't, you know. And then it was like, finally, I was like, no, I have to. This feels right for me, and I know it is right, you know. And
Mhm.
so I started kind of figuring out my style when I moved to Nashville. You know, like
Okay.
taking all my experiences. Like I love '80s music because I'm an '80s boy, so I love '80s pop, rock, and R&B and all that. But then I love Motown because my mom was playing that through the house growing up. Me and my twin brother
Mhm.
loved us some Motown. But so I was like, and then you know I have that gospel influence. I was like, what I really figured out once I started writing more, I was kind of taken from all of those things and mashing it into this. So I guess my sound is like more retro pop, is what I call it. Because
Mhm.
I actually got on a retro pop playlist on Spotify, and I was like,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
that kind of defines my style. So I was
Yeah.
like, so then I started, you know, just putting that as kind of, but it's kind of influences from all my musical journey, you know.
Sure, sure. Real quick, I mean, well, did your brother sing at all too, or is this just your thing?
Yeah, well, my brother, we sang together when we were kids a lot, you know, not in church. Like he never really sang in front of people a lot. I think he
Mhm.
was just, like really shy. I was shy too, but I kind of just broke out of it. But he kind of he loved singing though. He always sang, but he didn't really. Later on, he started kind of like wanting to, you know, do it more a little bit. We were
Mhm.
talking about even doing a song together. And he was like, yeah, I would do that. Cause he loved what I was doing with music, you know, and he
Yeah.
supported me. But then he started showing a little interest, like, I think I might try it a little bit, you know. So but yeah, he sang too. He had a great voice. He had a great voice. I just wish we could have got to do something together though, but we
Sure.
sang growing up together all the time. We were late to
Okay.
school all the time, so we would walk to school and we would just make up songs when we were walking to school all the
That's
time.
cool. Yeah, I was just wondering because with twins and siblings, there's some similar tone in your voice. So I'm wondering you probably could harmonize pretty well with each other, and you'll hear that a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So
we did. And his voice was different though. Like he had a lower tone, but he had a kind of raspy like tone, like, but it was still very similar, our sound.
mhm.
Definitely blended well together.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
I was a little higher of a singer just because of all the people I listen to all the icons like Whitney and Mariah and Michael and
Okay.
Stevie
Yeah.
and
So you're
the
trying to
big
sing up
singers,
in this high
Prince.
register.
Yeah, so I studied them growing up. That's who I
Okay.
listened to. So I tended, but Kane was more in the like Marvin Gaye, Sam
Mhm.
Cooke, um, more in that vein where he kind of, and I loved them too, because we both grew up in the same.
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
but he more gravitated more towards that.
Okay. And so at what point like do you go to then like I mean you wrote that song and sang it at 13 and from there on out were you writing songs continually and were you performing your own songs a lot or was it once you got into that kind of gospel church world was it that you kind of hung out there for a while?
Yeah, so I hung out there for a while writing. I still wrote in that camp, but I started kind of branching out and writing my own stuff that like I wanted to talk about too. And
Mhm.
so I was like, so I started kind of going down that road. Oh, yeah, just kind of along the way. I was writing all the time though, but I still wasn't very confident in my writing. I mean, I was confident in my writing, but I was writing songs, but I hadn't really started recording that much yet. So I just was like, I didn't know if I was any good really. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I would kind of, but I would get my friends together. If I like wrote a song, I would get my friends together, my singing friends, and like teach them the song. You know what I mean? And then they're like, "Oh my God, this song's good. Like, we need to do this. Can we sing this at church?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, we'll do it." And then we would sing it at church or something. You know what I
Oh
mean?
wow,
So,
that's cool.
so I
You're
would
the first
always get
person I've
my
ever
singing
heard.
friends together and teach them the songs. And then we started. Then we would go and do them. And then I was like, "Oh, maybe I, can write more." And but moving to Nashville is what really kind of it pushed me out of the nest when it came to writing because I'm working with some like great writers here,
Yeah,
and
some of the
people
best
who have
songwriters in the
been
world
doing
are
it.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so,
Yeah.
but it definitely challenged me, but it also showed me like, oh, I'm pretty good at this. Like I
Mhm.
can write. Like it made me a little more confident in my writing and just in my artistry period. But
Sure.
yeah, that
I
was
think it's interesting that I've interviewed a lot of people, and I've never heard of anyone bringing and presenting their own song to their church, kind of choir, and then them allowing you to perform it there. That's really quite incredible, right?
yeah, it was. I had fun. I have fun being creative. Like they let me be creative, my
Hmm.
church, because they love what I did. They support. They were like, "Oh, Wayne, he's singing," because I was singing like there was a big choir there that I joined when I was young, and we traveled and stuff. That was really fun, and so they just always supported me when I was doing. So they were like, anytime I was like, "Oh, I want to sing a new," they're like, "Yeah, come on, let's go." So, because I grew up there. I mean, I went to that church since I was a little kid
Hmm.
and they saw me grow up, but they never heard me sing till I was like 13. They was like, "Oh, I sang in the choir, but not like solo." But so
Right.
when they heard me sing for the first time, they're like, "Little Wayne can sing," because they called me Little Wayne, because my real name's Wayne, but my artist name is Wyn. And they're
Right.
like, "Little Wayne can sing."
But they didn't call you Lil Wayne. Just little one.
Sometimes they did. Oh
I'm
no,
just kidding.
yeah. No, not Lil. Not
I'm
Lil, but
kidding.
Lil. Yeah. Yeah. No, but I didn't get it at first, but then I said, oh yeah. No, I got that all the time. But yeah, and then our other nickname was Kano and Wayno, and then we had
Oh,
like,
I like that.
and then they called us the twins all the time. Hey,
Oh,
twins.
sure. The twins.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got that all the time. Were you and your brother in the same classes, or did your parents split you up? I'm just curious.
We went to separate things, like separate schools and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we weren't. No, junior high, we were all in the same class up until when we got high school, we went separate.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm just there's a lot of twins around where I live, which is interesting because I haven't seen a whole lot of twins. And then it's like there's a bunch that I have a 6-year-old, so
Cool.
at his bus stop there's like 4 sets of twins, which is I never really,
wow.
like there's twins I went to school with, but not to the extent. I feel like there's a lot more twins around here, and only a couple of them keep their kids together. Like there's 2 sets that like their kids stay in the same classes as they kind of move on, but they're young. I mean, we're talking elementary school level.
Yeah.
And then one of the parents is just like right out the gate, like, nope, you're splitting them up. So there's 2 different approaches. I was just curious
we
where
had
you guys
different
went.
classes sometimes if we went to the same school, but when we went to high school, we went separate.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
but we would be together a lot of times, but then sometimes take like different classes and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But
So
and
so did you
we come from a family like my mom's one of 13, and my grandma had 3 sets of twins.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so
It's in the blood.
it's in the blood. You know,
Oh
my
my
mom had twins,
goodness.
and I just had a niece have twins, and so twins are rich in my
Rich,
family.
yeah, that's cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool. So when it came to going to Nashville, was that out of high school? Like when do you make the move, and what made
Oh
you
no,
decide
I
on
had just
moving?
moved to Nashville 5 years ago.
Oh,
And I
okay.
had been, because before that I had been like, I lived in Dallas for a year and a half, and I was just kind of finding my way with what I wanted to do. And my dad lives there, and my brother, I have family there in Dallas, but I was like, I moved there, and I was just trying to figure out like what I wanted to do, even directionally with music and everything. But I met some people here in Nashville. I had known one of my artist friends that moved here, and he was like, I came and visited before, and then I just made some connections when I visited, and
Uh-huh.
then I came, and then I did like this little singing clip of me singing, like a singing challenge that my friend was doing, and one of my friend happened to hear it that I had met previously, but he was like, and he's become one of my best friends now. We work on music together. He produced most of my album, but he was like, hey, can you come down and be featured on a song? Because he's an artist. He's an EDM artist who features different artists and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, can you come be on a song? I would love to have you on a song. I was like, yeah. And I heard the stuff he's done with my friend too, and I love it. So I was like, yeah. I came down and we started working together. And from that point on, I was just like, God, I love this place. Like when I would go back to Dallas, I would be like really sad to be going, like I would like, man, I just want to be in that. So then in that kind of, that community of people that are doing music and, like, so then I was like, you know what? He was like, I got a place opening up if you want to move here. And I was like, okay. So I packed my stuff up. I quit my job and I drove to Nashville. But I had another, one when I got here because I was
Right.
working in hospitality and stuff at the
Yeah,
hotel.
I remember you saying that. At
Yeah.
least in that
So
interview for when they asked you right away on America's Got Talent.
Yep. I
Yeah.
did hospitality for a few years, and then I moved here and did it while I was doing music, and then I got signed to a label 6 months after I moved here.
Wow.
Yeah, and then but I still hadn't put anything out for like 2 years, over 2 years, because I was trying to find my sound too, and what like to develop my sound and my writing, and so then I finally released my first single in 2019, which was Circles. But all of that, even before that, was just writing in the studios, because I recorded so many songs and I had to narrow it down just for the album. But I recorded, but that was to help me kind of find my sound and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And
doing all that
Circles does
writing.
well. I mean, right? Did it do well right off the bat?
It did. I mean, not right off the bat, because it took like people to hear it and it to get out there, and we did like, I did it was just a lot of it honestly was people hearing about it from other people and then like sharing it, and then it got a show, it got placed on Love Island, and it was another show it was placed on too. So then it started, people were hearing it from that and we're like, oh, I heard this song on blah 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 and I wanted to see who the artist was. And so then it started picking more momentum up. And then from there on, the more and more we start putting out, one of my EP, it started getting, then my brother, he was telling everybody about it. Like, and he has 3 kids. So like, even if like sometimes like, if he like it would get into it, one of the moms or something, he'd be like, but did you hear my brother's EP though? Like, like
I love that.
he was like so supportive. He was telling everybody. And so, but no, but I say that just funny, but really it was just word of mouth too. And then, the label, they of course help with stuff, when it came to like a lot of content and stuff that I was putting out, like the lyric video I did for that. And so it was a slow kind of thing, but it was just building that audience and people were connecting with it. And I was like, and I got to watch it. Like, I remember it was cool being young, thinking it was cool just to type your name in Google and something come up. Like,
Right, yeah.
And now it's like I remember when I got to my first 1,000 even, or 10,000, it was like, oh my God, like people are hearing this, so it was like, it was all.
Yeah. I mean, I can't. I mean, yeah, 1,000. Oh, wow. Now it's at millions. A couple million
It's
plays.
just surreal. It really is. And then even watching Who I Am, just that really just kind of, and what I love about that song is I'm hearing from people everywhere, all over the world, but all these different stories. Like, it could be loss, it could be learning their identity, and like and really coming into that place. And like, I get to hear all these stories of how it's touching people from all around the world, and they all have different stories, which is really cool.
Yeah, and you said that was your brother's favorite song?
Yeah, and that's the thing. He connected with that song too. That's the thing it's cool to see that was his favorite song on the EP, because I just put my EP out, before he passed. So he was like, he
Oh my
loved.
gosh, so he passed really recently.
Yeah,
I mean, oh my
in
goodness.
November of 2020, my brother. It hasn't even been 2 years yet that I lost my
I'm
twin
so
brother.
sorry. Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you, Adam. Yeah, it was the hardest thing I ever went through. Like, music did help me because it was very therapeutic, and just being able to really, and plus my brother believed in me, and that's kind of what kept me going, like, to finish the album, which was really hard, but I did it for him, and I dedicated, because after I was done with the album, I kind of hit a low. Boom, I needed to kind of, I honestly, I got a little depressed. I was just like,
Oh, I would
I had
too.
been
Oh my
going and
gosh.
going, and then this opportunity came to go on tour last November. I went on tour. I opened for this group, Delta Ray, and it was the best first tour anybody could ask. I mean, it was so good, and I love that I could be doing music and stuff, especially with people like that too, that were so supportive of me, and like, and just believed in what I was doing, but yet I felt I had a safe space to be in where I could grieve and stuff. And it was just a good atmosphere. I had such a good time on that tour. But then I got off and kind of hit a low again. And I was just like, that kind of kept me busy. But I did need those times to process and grieve. I did need that. So that time in between, even though it was a dark period for me, I think it was good because I got into therapy and I started like just being able to talk about it more and stuff because I would got really depressed. And I was like, it's just the hardest thing you can like
Ever
man,
imagine. Yeah.
yeah, it was just so hard. And so then AGT opportunity came along and I was like, I know I gotta do this. He would just be like, bro, you better win this shit. You know, like he would be so like, like I could just hear him like, okay. So I went, and he would be telling me like, people have written such nice things. You're our winner. Like, it doesn't matter. We're happy that AGT, that we found you, you know,
Right.
people are hearing my music. And they're like, and the fact that I had a whole album out that they can go listen to, that was really special too. Cause I know what it's like for me when I hear an artist like on a show like that, and I'm like, damn, I love them. And you go and then you're like, oh, they don't really have anything, and you're waiting,
Right.
like put something more out. You're like, I
Yeah, they
get
have
it.
like the one song they sang on America's Got, or like
Yeah,
a recorded cover of whatever song they did at like the audition. You're like, oh man, like I wish they had, yeah,
yeah,
more
some more,
stuff.
you know. But I'm glad I got to. They're like, oh my God, he has a whole album out, and they're like, where has this guy been? Like, what is? And I love that that I could give them that, like after something like, because that was a, and to see it just received with such love, man, it is surreal. It really is. But I know it's my brother. He's cheering me on, and he's so smiling down, man. I feel him all around me with everything that's happening.
I
You know.
love that. Was he in Nashville as well, or he didn't live here?
Oh, he was in Minneapolis.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
I'm curious. So you had the EP out, and then when did when did the album come out? That was after 2020, but before you did
Album came
America's
out
Got
last
Talent.
year. So it came out
21, right? The album.
yep, last
Okay.
September, the 24th,
Okay.
it came out. The full
Okay. So like
album.
a year ago.
A year ago.
Sure.
It
Okay.
was like not even a year after my brother passed that I put the album. Like, and that was hard, of course,
Mhm.
doing, I had a lot of stuff recorded already, but I did get to do one, and this the last song on the album. It's called End of the River, and I wrote that for my brother. So I got to
Oh,
put that
wow.
on the album.
That's really special.
Yeah.
So that was one addition to what you already had done. Was that
Yep.
a hard song to write? I can't even
God,
imagine.
I couldn't listen to it for a long time, even like after I played it for my nephew, his oldest son, and because we went to do a video last 4th of July. I did a video with my whole family in it, and so
Wow.
it's the Not a Waste video, and that
Okay.
was so cool to do that because it was like I got to like have my brother's kids were in it. The youngest didn't get to be in it because she lived in Dallas and she couldn't do it at the time, but I had his the two oldest ones, they were in it, and that was just so cool being able to do that video with my family in it. But I played it for my nephew when I was there doing that video, and he just broke down in tears, just because my nephew, his oldest son, his mom is a twin.
Oh,
So
wow.
so his mom is a twin and his dad is a twin, and both our moms knew each other when they were pregnant with us. So because we all grew up in church together, you know. So we've known
Wow.
each other literally. I've known his mom literally my whole life, you know. So it's like, so so we're like family, you know what I'm
Sure.
saying? And so, but so yep, they knew each other when I didn't know that till a little later though. I didn't know that they were like pregnant with each other, you know, with both. And now we have my nephew who's just awesome, and he has 3 beautiful kids. And my brother, they're him, you know. They remind me so much of him, and
I'm sure.
they're beautiful, man. But they loved it. He loved it. But it was hard for me to listen to that song. I was like, I couldn't listen to it at first for a while. Now I can listen to it because I had to sing it on tour because I messed
Right,
up
right.
and picked that one. So I I had a lot of time to rehearse it and get through all the emotion, and then I could. But even on tour, it was special. Even when I couldn't sometimes get through it, the people there were just so. I had a family come up to me and they were like, they had just lost a guy. He had just lost his sister, and his mom and dad and him decided they wanted to just get out to kind of do something fun because they have been really going through it with losing her. And they came up to me after the concert and they were like, we were all huddled crying together on the end of the river. And that was really special to me because that was, and that it was cool, like I said, to be doing that. I did need that time to like do therapy and grieve, but that was part of my healing too. That being on tour and here connecting with other people who had suffered loss, even recent too. You know, a lot of people in 2020, you know, with
Oh,
COVID too, you
yeah,
know.
we're losing a
And
lot of family members for sure.
I had a lot of family pass. It wasn't just my twin brother. That was the one. I mean, but I lost a aunt, a niece, my grandmother, and my stepmom all in the past 2
Oh
years.
my gosh.
It was just, it was devastating. And so it was like, that was so much to process, but being able to connect with people through music and tell my story and then hear theirs, it was just like, it felt so good to be able to do that. And
Yeah,
I
to
was,
share that bond with these with your
yeah.
fans and people. I'm sure you get a ton of DMs and messages and stuff in relating to, you know, loss and stuff. Is that hard to sometimes you know, kind of not respond to it, but just to get those messages? I could imagine it getting overwhelming a little bit at
Oh,
times.
for sure. It does, but it's really I want to take my time when especially somebody's telling me about some loss. I don't want to just
Mhm.
be like, "Oh, thank you." You know,
Yeah,
like, you know
right,
what I
right.
mean? Like
Sorry
I
about your
want to
loss. Like
cuz
thoughts and
I yeah, you know
prayers.
what I mean?
You
Cuz
know,
I really do connect with people. I get
right.
that pain and I want to connect with people because I feel like it's nice to when you're grieving such and then they're suffering and so it's like you have this thing in common, I guess, you know. So I love hearing those messages, but like I it's hard sometimes because there's so many and I really want it to be personal. I don't want it to be just some quick, you know,
Right.
like little response. Oh, sorry for your loss too. You know, I want to like talk to them. You know what I mean? You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like, tell them I get it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like we're in this together. I had this guy reach out to me and this is really special. Because he had the same last name, so we may be related
Oh,
somewhere. But
crazy.
he had just lost his twin brother, and like I was looking at pictures of him and his brother together, and it I was bawling reading his message and seeing, but I got to like tell him, well, you know what, I'm doing this for your brother too. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
we you know, I get it, man, and you could see how it just hurt so bad, you know, well, to and I get that pain, you know, but even though it hurts, it's like I wouldn't want it like the grief can be it can be it can hurt so bad, but it shows you how much you love them. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So I was like, so being able to, like you said, it does get overwhelming, but it is definitely part of that healing process for me
Yeah,
to
I was gonna say it could probably be a little bit therapeutic as well, hearing stories of people that have gone through similar
yeah,
situations and being able to be there for them as much as they're probably there for you on that end.
absolutely, yeah. Because I mean, there's been people like I had one girl. She's like, I've been in a dark place, and I'm finally. I listen to who I am, and I'm seeing a light at the end of. Like I'm like, you're feeling like motivated to get up again, and because I know it was hard for me getting out of bed a lot of
Oh
days,
yeah.
but music, man, this music, man, it been. And my brother, he just believed in me so much. I was like. I gotta do this for him. He would just
Mhm.
love it. He was already spending my money that I didn't have. Like, what house you gonna give me? What
Yeah, what are we
car? This is
buying?
the
Yeah, he's
car I
sending you
want.
like Zillow links.
Oh yeah, exactly. He so believed in me. Like
Oh, that's so cool. That is
It's
so
cool,
cool.
yeah. I had some people put up this like thing on YouTube. They're like, Wyn Starks makes 100 some thousand over 100,000 a year, and I had me like a pasted photo of me with a mansion behind me, and
Oh no!
I was like, well, I guess I made it.
And it's like
I was
some
like,
robotic voice, right? Reading it all. It's like
I
he
think
is
so. Yeah,
5'9".
exactly.
I
You know
watched
what I'm
that like
talking
literally
about.
like a half an hour ago. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then
I
I
know.
watched it. I'm like,
I
I
said,
know he
I
didn't put this
wish.
out.
I said, I wish. Where is this? Can somebody tell me where my mansion is? Like,
It was
I
like,
loved it though.
yeah,
I loved it.
I figured you had nothing to do with that, but I was
No,
laughing. I'm like,
I like they're like telling me, I'm like, well, goals.
yeah,
Thank you for speaking my
it
future.
was like he is a Pisces. He has mixed. He's from mixed ethnicity. Like
Look,
I was like, what the
everything
hell?
I don't think they got one thing right in the
I was dying.
but it was funny. I
Uh,
loved it though.
that's so funny.
Like,
Yeah,
well, I guess
I
I
literally.
made it.
I think it was like recommended on the recommended videos.
It
Like after
was,
I
yeah,
watched your America's Got Talent one, I'm like,
yeah.
oh, what is this? And then I'm like, this is good, like so bootleg.
Yeah,
Like,
I wish,
oh
well, one day, one day.
yeah,
No, but it was funny. I loved
that
it.
is really
But
funny.
yeah, my brother, he was like, I want this house, I want this car. Like he just, and he was serious though. Like he was
Well,
so
you know,
believing in me though.
well, he
You know
still
what I
does, man. I'm sure he's gonna. It'll appear at one moment, and
mean?
then you'll be like, "Oh, that was the car he wanted. I guess I'm gonna have to buy that today."
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. Yeah, I'm gonna
I
still
love
get
it.
that car and house for him.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. What's that? So you have a new song out that you released this year, correct?
Uh-huh. So
Um, sorry, go
it
ahead.
is actually a song that I released on my album, but I re-released it featuring the Fish Singers, the Fish Jubilee Singers, is Sparrow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sparrow. Sure. Yeah. You have a couple other features on there, right?
Yep. So Built by Titan, who is my best friend here in Nashville that I work in music with,
Uh
he's
huh.
that's who I met when I first moved here, Fred Williams. And then he asked me to be featured on a song. So but we did
Oh, so
Sparrow
that was
together.
that first song, the EDM song.
Not
No,
Sparrow
different one.
wasn't, but we
No,
did a
but
song
you
called
did that record together, right? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Got
Yep.
you.
And
Yeah.
that's
I'm not
under
saying.
my another name that I used to like Starks. I just went by Starks for a little while.
Uh
So
huh.
that's under that. But it's a song called 10 I did with him and Broken Love that we did together. And those are some of the first ones I did when I moved here.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we did Spell together after the George Floyd killing. We got together and we wrote a song because I wanted it to be very reminiscent of like the old Negro spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
really capturing that, the struggle of our people and just like, and I wanted to like go there and we wrote that song together and that was really special to have him on that. So, but then to have the Fish Jubilee Singers, like they are a lot of the reason how Nashville got its name. And I didn't know that till recently because they went on a tour to Europe and they in like 1873 and they sang for the Queen of England. They went on tour to save the school, and so they traveled around Europe and they sang for the Queen and she was like, you must be from a city of music because your voices are so beautiful. You must be from a city of music. Hence, so Queen Victoria and the Fish Jubilee Singers are a huge reason how Nashville has its name, Music City.
Is that right? I did not know
Yeah,
that.
I know it's a really cool story. And so, and I was like, and I've already heard of the Fish Jubilee Singers growing up.
Uh
I
huh.
was like, so I was like, to be able to do this project, because I did a whole EP with them. I took 4 songs from the album and re-released them featuring the Fifth Singer. So I did Circles, Dancing My Way, End of the River, and Sparrow was the first single, but I have a whole EP with them that I'm
Really?
out. Yeah.
Oh,
And
cool.
that was so much fun doing that. That was really fun.
And so they've just been acquiring new people throughout the years of.
They are they won a Grammy last year.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot. Like I went to their concert recently and it blew my mind. It was a fantastic big concert. Like I was like I want to do one with them so bad. Like I
That'd be
can't
cool to
wait
do
to do a show with
your
them.
EP, right?
Yeah, I would love to do a release and kind of record it with them. That would be really fun because we had so much fun too recording and being in the studio and doing that. It was just, they're excellent group of singers, and people. And I was like so honored to work with them. That was huge for me. That was huge. So I can't wait to release that. We're still figuring out when that's gonna be, but it'll be soon.
Oh man, off air, I want to talk to you at the end if that's cool.
Please,
I have a great
okay.
idea.
Okay.
No, that's so awesome. That's so cool. So that's
I'm
gonna come out as an EP.
This needs to be a movie. This needs to be a documentary. This story, like, why haven't nobody did this yet? Like, I'm like,
right. I had no idea.
It's an incredible story. Like what they did, and this was it. Just Emancipation Proclamation was just what not long before that, only years before that. They're historically black college in the South. You know what I'm saying? And but they go.
That was in Nashville.
In Nashville.
Yeah, no, I know. I got this. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. No. We're going to talk after this for sure. I got this great idea. Wow, that's so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, man, I was, yeah.
What else do you have? What else are you working on?
Album
yeah,
too,
you're working on your second album? Okay.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm gonna have my people, and Delta Ray will be in there. We're gonna get together and do something together for it, and I'll have a few other features, surprise features on there, which will be really, really cool. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. This second album, I'm really excited because I get to even dive deeper into like personal things and like my story a little more, and there'll still be that fun stuff like Dancing My Way too, but definitely like I'm gonna be digging a little deeper on the second one.
That's exciting. Well, thank you so much for doing this, Wyn. This has been awesome. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, man. I enjoy talking to you. I can go sometimes. I'm sorry if I was
No, you didn't go. You didn't go too long. Not at all, by any means.
Thank you, Adam.
No, thank you.
Really
I have
cool,
one more quick question, and then I want you to hang on for a second if you have a minute. I want to chat with you after.
Sure, yeah, for sure.
Cool. Do you have any advice for aspiring artists?
Yes, I learned on this journey, following your gut and staying true to yourself. I wish I could have told myself, because I tell people like there was this little boy inside of me that was just ready to release and just be free. You know what I'm saying? I kind of locked him away for a while because I was trying to be what everybody else wanted me to be. I was like, but when I started following my gut and being true to myself, it hasn't failed. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, and more than anything, I'm much happier because I have more self-love and just I'm learning how to trust myself more, when it comes to decisions, and I'm still learning. I'm on this journey, but I get to take so many more people with me, you know what I'm saying, through all these experiences. So it's cool, but yeah, just stay true to yourself and follow your gut, and that's what I'll say. Bring it backward.